take to some sort of a sannyasa, or we have to go to Himalayas, give up our families and all. But the detachment is within oneself. When that detachment starts working, the first sign is that we become joyous. We become happy. Now, if you ask anyone, why are you unhappy? He'll talk about his wife, maybe his house, maybe his children, maybe his country, maybe society, whatever it is. So he gets absolutely upset or maybe very unhappy to see things happening around him. Now he is a realized soul. This unhappiness is not going to help. What is needed is now to know that you can correct all these ills of the society, of the family, of the whole country by transforming others, not by feeling bad. But while doing that, the main thing that you should have is a complete detachment. I was amazed when I first started Sahaja Yoga how people told me about their own countrymen, country fellows. I was amazed how they told me about their own religions, how wrong things they are doing. I didn't know so much as they told me. And I thought that this is a detachment that has come, that they can see clearly what's wrong. What's wrong with my society, with my people, with my relations, with my family, with my country, with the whole world. But it's only possible if you are not identified to any one of them. Otherwise, you will never see the defects. You will never see what's wrong with that person. You can never even see the chakras which are catching. So the first thing that should happen is detachment. Now, how to achieve detachment is the point. Many people ask me, Mother, how do you get detached? Because I'm not attached, you see. So I'm already detached. I don't know how to do that way. But for you people, I would say, to understand yourself, you should introspect. Try to find out. To what thing am I attached? Why am I miserable? For whom am I worried? Why should I worry? Some things, you see, which were never very important, they become very important to certain surgeons. For example, I was told that in the West people don't care so much for their children. But as soon as they get realization, they just get attached to their children like as if with some glue. They cannot think what is good for their children. Everything about children they think is their primary duty. The other day I was surprised when they told me that it's the parents who want to come after the birthday puja. I was shocked. I mean, just on the way is birthday puja, and why should the parents want to come after that? And when I told Yogi, he said, Mother will be very happy if they are here, and they should be. It will help the children, it will help the parents. But the whole now attention goes to the children, that we must leave the children there and we must look after them, and that's the only thing. So the attachment to children will definitely make you do such things which are not good for you. So this new attachment starts after Sahaja Yoga. I have seen very common. Then another attachment is, say, to your family. Normally there are no such things in the West. People are not attached to their family much. You see, they drink, they do all kinds of things. Suddenly, they become self-realized, and it's like a boomerang. They come back to the family. They're so attached to the family, attached to the house, attached to everything. I just can't understand. If you are becoming the pure spirit, then you are detached because you are just a reflection. You are the reflection of God Almighty. So all these identifications drop out. Now, one may say how to drop it out. I've never dropped them, but still I can suggest certain things which can drop. First is meditation. You should discover about yourself what's wrong with you, which side is catching. Is it right or left side? With meditation you can find out. Are you attached to money? Are you attached to business? Are you attached to your family? Are you attached to your country in a way which is not such? Or to your culture which is not such? Then try to get rid of this attachment by meditation. You know how to get rid of the right and the left. This attachment will show on your fingertips. And you have to see for yourself what centers you are catching, in which way are you in trouble, and then you can clarify it very simply by taking a very simple search treatment. I think here we fail that once we get attached to something, we don't even think we are getting attached. We think we are doing very great thing because now we love this person, love that person. Shiva's qualities. The compassion part. You start getting attached to people. That is no compassion. That is no compassion of any kind. To be attached to any such things is no compassion in you. Cannot have compassion of Shiva. Though people think it is the Shiva's compassion that is working with you, it is not. Because that compassion is very pure. It is like, as I have told you many times, it's like the sap in the tree, which rises and goes to various parts of the tree, and then either it evaporates or goes down into Mother Earth. It's not attached. If it gets attached to one flower or to one leaf or to one fruit, then the whole tree will suffer and also the flower will disappear. So this kind of attachment to a particular thing, to a particular idea is not proper. In Sahaja Yoga I have found people are very adaptable and understand what they should do. But the main thing is meditation. In meditating on your heart, on the Shiva Tatva, on the principle of Shiva, you can definitely detach, and then the joy will be the maximum. Joy will be the maximum. I have seen people have interest in, say, food, or in clothes, or in house, anything. You can have interest. You should have interest. But in that interest, there should be enlightenment that you cannot get attached to. Some people say, who are, say, from South India, they don't like North Indian food. Those who are from North India don't like South India. It's a big problem. I asked the people in Indian Airlines, why don't you have some standard food? He said, what is the standard food of India? Tell me. It was a question. Indians are very particular about the taste and food. So, it's a fact, we don't have any standard food in India. But in the same way we can say in so many other ways that in the West people run after things which are not necessary. They do things just out of fashion, or I don't know, because their personality is not grown up. If your personality is grown up, then you see everything from an angle which is much higher than others, and you don't get dissolved with others. What you know is much higher, much greater, and much more joy giving. Now, these attachments, people think that is very joy giving. If you get a child, and if you have, say, a wife, everything are joy giving. It's a very wrong idea. The joy comes from your own source of your spirit. Whether your husband is good, whether your children are good or bad, whatever they cannot give you joy. It's only you can enjoy yourself. And this is why one becomes very forgiving. When nobody can harm you, then whom are you going to be angry with? That is another great quality of Sadashiva, is that he is extremely forgiving. He goes up to a point till he destroys the whole work of Adishakti. But otherwise he is very, very forgiving. And he also is very balanced about it. Once the Adishakti got very angry with the whole world was so decadent and all that, and she started destroying everything. So he put a little child under her feet, and such a big tongue came out with such a shock, she stopped her destruction. So his ways are such that a person who is to develop the Shiva principle within himself should be extremely forgiving. I know there are people who are very cruel, who are very torturesome. If you cannot bear it, all right, finish it off. I'll stand by you there. But if you can bear it, it's better to bear and undergo this experience of bearing it, because it's not difficult to bear than to get out of it. For example, a lady came to me and she said, I'm going to divorce my husband. I said, why? Because he comes home very late and I get very little of him. But I said, when you divorce, you'll not get him at all. What's the logic? At least now you see him, whatever it is, whatever the time is there. But this is no solution. If you divorce him, you'll never see him. So what's the use of such a divorce? So many things like that can be understood once you are a detached person, that you are not to be attached to anything. Now, who can aggress you if you are not attached to anyone? Nobody can. Only thing, when you feel that you have to protest, you should, but with detachment. In protest also is important to absolutely to have a complete detachment. Now the main problem before us today is something else, is that we all have to ascend. And ascend with the equal strength. There's a story about some birds who were caught in a net. So they decided that we should get out of this net. And they tried. Everybody tried to get out. But nobody individually could work it out. So they all decided to fly together, 1, 2, 3, and go. And they took all that net with them, and they said, then they requested the rats that please come and cut our net, and they were free. So if it can happen between the rats and the birds, why not between us? So in collectivity, we'll be amazed in the collectivity how we could be helpful and joyous with each other. Now say something is wrong. with your mother, father, sister, somebody, activity, how we could be helpful and joyous with each other. Now say something is wrong with your mother, father, sister, somebody. Doesn't matter. After all, you have the ocean of joy here with the collectivity. And your problems can be solved if collectively, if you want to solve your problem. So we have to depend on the collectivity. Very much to be one with the collective. I feel once you jump into the sea of Sahaj, the joy itself draws you together. Meeting each other is such a joyous. We have had so many experiences of that, of Sahajogis who have told me how happy they were to find Sahajogis somewhere out of the blue and how they felt happy. So this tie between the Sahajogis is really the most joyous channel. And that is what is the source. Is really the most joyous channel. And that is what is the source, we should say, of our becoming one together. Once you start enjoying each other. I have told you once a story of a great poet in